You might call this the president's second rally of the day, but in actuality, since his rally last night in Miami went over midnight, this is really his third rally of the day. After here, he's got Traverse City, Michigan, Kenosha, Wisconsin, and then Grand Rapids, Michigan. So just a little bit of setting the stage for you here. I'm going to tell you what we're up against. As you can see, it is sunny behind us. The background is in full light. Right now, we're kind of in the shade here. We've got some scissor lifts that are between us and the sun, so the lighting is going to be a little spotty for a while until it clears the final lift there. Crowds are filing in. There were people here as of 5 p.m. yesterday. They camped out overnight in typical Trump rally fashion. Temperatures are in the high 30s, low 40s, and it did about an hour ago. There was snow. There was a speck of snow that fell on me. And since I'm from San Diego in California, I am counting that as this is a rally that I covered where it snowed. So let me tell you a little bit about Scranton. It is the 6th largest city in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It is the largest city and the county seat of Lackawanna County. And Scrantonians, as they're called, used to be industries here, primarily coal, heavy industry, but it's moved on from that. It has migrated and changed into a job base that is really heavy with education, with transport because of its proximity to New York and New Jersey, and also the medical field. Ethnic diversity of the city has changed a lot, and while Joe Biden likes to claim this as his home, it's not an area that went for Joe Biden in 2016. In 2000, you can see the wind kicking up behind me. I forgot to mention that. Winds today are forecast 20 to 30 miles per hour with occasional gusts of 40 miles per hour. So we've got almost all of it. We don't have rain. So there's one thing we don't have. We'll be thankful for that. So in 2016, President Trump carried the state of Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, by 44,000 votes. Many of those votes came from the surrounding counties in the Scranton area. This is a critical area for support of our president, for support for his reelection. So we're going to be doing, I did learn from yesterday. We had some challenges yesterday because I only have 2 arms and there are many tasks that I need to do. In true American ingenuity fashion, we have some duct tape now and some Velcro. We've got some Velcro and duct tape, so I can now hold my phone on my hand, hopefully navigate the screens and not have to be away from the camera for so long. So let's see if I can pull up our partner here. Our partner today is iTarget. Innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and forced to defend themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. But most of us don't have the time to train consistently. And that's why iTarget Pro was invented. And besides, ammo is really expensive. If you can train without ammo, that's a better way. So using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home or office with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. And today, you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. Now, this is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays off in itself with just a few days of practice with the money you'll save on the ammo. That's the letter I, targetpro.com, itargetpro.com, and the offer code is SAVE10. So if you've been tuning into the rallies here with us in the last couple days, you know that President Trump is on an incredible schedule of 14 rallies in the last 3 days. After this, we have Traverse City, Michigan, and Kenosha, Wisconsin coming up, and Grand Rapids, Michigan, which will be closing out the day at 10:30. So if you'd like to continue to support us here at RSBN, the easiest way you can do that is at rsbnetwork.com/donate. That's rsbnetwork.com/donate. When you make a donation there, the bulk of it comes straight to us. There's only a small processing fee. That's the easiest way, and the one where most of your donation will help support our efforts. And YouTube, in the super chat with a dollar icon, you can also make a donation there. And as well, if you're watching right now, please take the time to like this stream, share it, subscribe, hit the bell, because after tomorrow, we'll still be bringing you coverage. We don't know what it is, but we're going to expand our efforts. We'll have an election day show, and beyond that, we're just going to go where news of the election takes us. A third way that you can help us is you can send us a donation via the mail. The RSBN 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama, zip code 36830. So as my cameraman Jaden is panning the crowd, I'm going to just turn around and tell you what I can see out here with the bit of rally experience I do have. We've got a lot of media on the riser. It's the last day before the election. We're pretty close to D.C., and this is also Joe Biden's claimed hometown, the one that he would like people to believe that he is from the working man's tradition of Scranton. Of course, his family moved away from here when he was 10 years old, moved to Delaware, and it's legitimate that he does have ties here, but I don't know if you could really say that they're as strong as Joe Biden would like you to believe. The crowd has been filling in. It's continuing to come on. I would say the biggest challenge at this location is parking. At this point, shuttle buses are an absolute must, or there is a fairly long walk to get here from where there probably is adequate parking down below, lower in the valley. In Pennsylvania, in this region, you know, you've got the Appalachian Mountains, so if you're familiar with the topography, it's just a lot of undulating ridges and valleys, and this airport is carved out of not as high as possible on a ridge, but it is very high. So we are definitely above the valley floor. So it's an uphill walk for anybody who is walking up here. Now, I think when the camera does come back around to me, you're going to see a hat you haven't seen me worn before. This is my Meme America Great hat. M-E-M-E. This is memes, and I want to talk a little bit about keyboard warriors. The president has famously thanked them for their efforts, and I've been lucky enough to really know some of the people who make these memes. So many of them, love for the president, love for our country drives them. They do this on their own time, at their own expense, trying their best to make light of the claims that the left will make and refute them with humor and with truth. So I started making memes on the Donald, a subreddit of reddit.com. I was doing that in 2017. That's where I met the first of these compatriots. Mad Liberals was probably the first one I ever worked on a meme with. I'm going to name some of the people that I have worked with. Some of these people are now all independent, and some are on memeworld.com, some are still posting on the Donald.win, some are making just incredible content. And if you follow me on Twitter at brick_suit, that's brick suit with an underscore in the middle, after the rally tonight, I'll be posting a full rundown of some of the, basically everybody that I think you should follow. But I do want to mention some of the ones I've worked with the most and have made such a huge contribution. Everyone I mentioned has also helped other people. There's no way I can talk about them all, but briefly, Mad Liberals, definitely thanks to you. Carpe Donktum, banned. So powerful in his meme magic was that he was banned by Twitter. Soul Memes, the reigning queen of memes. Don't let your memes be dreams. The Wizard, Jafanzor, Something Wicked. You don't know, but he is such powerful content. It's amazing. He has helped us so much. Power Tie, with the most incredible animated meme I've ever seen of the president actually embracing the American flag. Thug Life, New Bleep, who could have been at the White House but didn't go. Mags from out in California, my meme brother. Will Be Great, him as well. Wintrell, down from San Diego. Posenot, another meme warrior who has been banned. The great John Ward, Trollosaurus, and Embrace More. There are so many other memers. I wish I could name them all, but there isn't time. So let's talk a little bit about the number one issue that people are calling out Joe Biden on. We'll take off the meme warrior's hat. We'll go back to the new classic Make America Great Again hat with the 45 and the flag. And we're going to talk about the one of the issues that Joe Biden absolutely can't escape from, and that's fracking. Joe, during the campaign, talked about, he's definitely on the record about how he would ban fracking, how he would move America away from fracking as fast as possible. And famously, in the last debate, President Trump pinned him down. And President Trump has actually acknowledged that that was a very fair debate, that the moderator did a very good job and gave President Trump enough time to ask the question. And Joe Biden responded that he would end the oil economy. He would end it. And in Pennsylvania, that means a loss of an untold number of jobs, an untold amount of income. And for America, it means a loss of energy independence. And that is something we can't afford to give up. Having the ability to provide our own energy, to not have to import it, is what allows America to not have to defend the oil interests that exist overseas. We no longer have to have super carriers in the Persian Gulf, in the Straits of Hormuz, in harm's way from the risk of missile attacks from Iraq or other actors in that area. Because we don't have to do that, we don't have to sacrifice the lives of our soldiers and our tax dollars, the capital of our country, on defending the oil infrastructure of other nations who are not contributing their fair share towards that defense. So killing fracking does more than just eliminating jobs. It puts America in a position where we now have to go overseas and risk the lives of our servicemen once again. And that is going to put us in a situation where wars are more likely, where international conflict is more likely. And Joe, he switched. Basically, when he realized that position of giving away America's energy, well, they're showing some stuff on the board here. I don't believe, a little bit of Tucker here talking about Joe Biden. I'm not sure if the sound is quite loud enough that they can pick it up.
Enforce it. Towns will be ordered to
Jaden, are we picking up the sound from the video? So why don't I
housing?
We'll go ahead and watch the video for a bit.
Needless to say,
and then we come back. We'll pick up where I left off.
Subsidized apartments will go up in the suburbs.
We'll also build 1.5 million new energy-efficient homes and public housing units.
Thankfully, Trump repealed this rule back in July. But now the left is backing an even more radical plan. It was a bill put forward by Senator Cory Booker to push low-income housing developments into the suburbs. This would be a federal takeover of local zoning laws, in essence. And Biden, he fully supports it.
The prior administration piled up more than 600 major new regulations, a cruel and punishing regulatory burden that cost the average American an additional $2,300 per year. Think of that. The average American, $2,300 regulation, hitting low-income Americans by far the hardest. Our historic regulatory relief is providing the average American household an extra $3,100 every single year.
I've had the luxury of enjoying the benefit of the tax cuts. The tax cuts allowed me to grow my businesses.
I believe that if you take into account the Trump tax cut, you take into account the drop in unemployment, and particularly unemployment for African Americans, the lowest it's ever been in history.
How's the economy right now? We're loving it.
Kennedy credits the Trump tax cuts and deregulation for her company's growth.
It's the first time in 10 years that it's booming again.
The tax cuts that were imposed did wonders for the middle class.
I will cut taxes even further for hardworking moms and dads. I will not raise taxes. I will cut them.
First thing I do is going to repeal this Trump tax cut.
Do you believe there is systemic racism in law enforcement?
We have some programming on the Jumbotron. We're, of course, going to show you all of this programming that comes in during the rally when we actually break into it, because the president has been incorporating memes, but we're not sure how much longer we're going to have. We've had some speakers here. We don't know if there'll be any others, but possibly not. But we'll talk about what they're talking here. This is Joe Biden saying that he's not going to raise taxes, but in the very same breath turns his head to the other side and says he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts. That is, of course, the same as raising taxes. So they're talking about safety of the suburbs.
Joe Biden's America will all be in peace. You support the police and you want to be
and the defunding of the police. So these are all things, these are all issues that Joe Biden espouses. There are, of course, many others. We were talking about fracking and what a huge impact that has on the safety of America in terms of not having to put our forces at risk overseas. And, you know, I've been to about 15 rallies by myself. I've covered a few of these now for RSBN, and I can tell you one thing that I have noticed is that the love that we get from the crowd is incredible. When we are walking around here and they realize that we're from RSBN as we're panning the crowd, it's just, it's amazing when they recognize us. People waving, people taking photographs. We really appreciate that support. And I think right now, I'm going to try and read some of the super chat messages. Actually, we'll wait for the camera to come back. And that love for us is absolutely, I'm humbled by it. I do want to let you know about a new group. You know that there are many people who support President Trump, and I would be remiss if I were not to point out that in Scranton, the famous Dunder Mifflin for Trump coalition is now active. Dunder Mifflin, of course. Oh, yes, you know they support Trump. That would be a nice small business, and we can't give up. We can't let them fall by the wayside. I also personally want to thank, it's been a long journey for me. I'm going to keep this one short, but going from being a rally attendee to being up here has been incredible. I have met so many wonderful people along the way before being introduced to RSBN. My rally friends, the late Randall Tom, who I met in Mesa, Arizona. Richard, I know you're out there. Sandra and Brandon, as well as Rick and Mike and Mario from California. A lot of California support for Trump. Wonderful to meet everybody from there. Megan and Misty from Phoenix. Megan also from Las Vegas, along with Joe. Joe, Megan, and I were all up on stage together. And then, of course, another supporter I met in Bullhead City, Reagan. So thank you to all of you for just the friendship you have shown to me while we've been covering the Trump campaign and while we've been out there on the rally trail. It's been an amazing experience for the country as a whole to see so many people supporting the president in the way that they do. There's so much love out there for our president. It's really humbling. I think that, you know, I'm going to list some of the reasons that we should all support President Trump. But I think the most potent weapon we have right now is really our love for him, is really our love for our country and how he embodies that for us and how we rally to him. Because for so long the media has told us that we should be ashamed of America, that there are things that are fundamentally wrong with America. They might label it systemic racism. They may say you are racist just by the very nature of your ethnicity. By the very color of your skin, you might be categorically described as being racist. And that's wrong. We know that's not what America's about. Yes, America's made mistakes in the past, but we always move forward. We're always trying to make ourselves better, always trying to make America great. Long before that became a political slogan, that's just the way we do things in America. So we can't give in to that. We can't give in to that description that the media wants to tell us that there's something fundamentally wrong with America, that it's wrong to love your country, because it's not. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And then the next few hours, less than 48 hours before the election, starting tomorrow, this is a time to show that love. Tell people why you support the president. Tell people why you love our country. Help them get out to vote. If you haven't voted in person already, if you haven't voted early, get your vote in as early as you can tomorrow. Make that vote in person and help others get out there. Help them get to the polls. It could be your neighbors. It could be some elderly people that you know, co-workers, your boss. Talk to anybody and ask them if they voted. Tell them why you support the president. I'm going to try and get to some super chat messages here. So bear with me as I Velcro up again. I think we'll be able to do it. All right, so I've got the super chat up. And I'll read out a few of the donations here. I don't think I'm quite up to date and live here, so I might have to hit a refresh. Gotta wait for an ad. So let's talk a little bit about, really, we were talking about voting and how important it is to vote. We all know that. We've heard all the reasons so far. But you don't want to leave it on the table. You don't want to look back at this election. You don't want to look back at this on Wednesday and say, I could have cast a vote. I could have helped someone else vote. This is a time when you need to make sure that happens tomorrow. Make some plans with people tonight. Hey, let's all go to the polls. Let's go vote. So let's get that taken care of. So let's read out some of the messages from Super Chat. We've got a $20 donation from Linda Finley. Trump 2020, Biden going down. We've got a $4.99 from Jason McCulley. Trump 2020. There's a little acronym there, so I'm not going to say blow something, Sleepy Joe. You know, like beat him substantially is what I think is the vernacular there. Red wave coming. We got a donation of $5 from the basket maker's wife. I've been watching the great RSBN through 2016, and you are natural. Thank you. Love your Twitter photos. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for your donation. Linda Mangan, welcome to she's joined the Reagan Club. Excellent, thank you. We have a donation from Australia, $79.99. Getting happy vibes from Bricksuit. Thank you, sir, and RSBN for keeping it real. A $4.99 from Sean Major, Disabled Black Veterans for Trump, Sergeant Sean Major, USMC Wounded Warrior Battalion. So definitely thank you very much for that. We do appreciate your support. It is what enables us to travel to these rallies. Again, the easiest way for you to make a full donation to us is at rsbnetwork.com/donate. That's rsbnetwork.com/donate. Most of your donation, except for a very small portion for processing, does come directly to us. The second way is via the super chats. You can do those, and I will try and read off as many as I can, but we do have a little bit of difficulty here connecting. There are bandwidth issues. We're always trying with only one set of hands. I apologize if I can't get to them all, but we are going to try. We're also, when you do make a donation at rsbnetwork.com, you also have an option to put some emails in there. And we'll see if we can pull up some of those in just a moment. Probably I'll do those after a break. We'll wait till after a break so I can switch screens on that. And if you want to mail us a donation, just keep it short here. RSBN, 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344 in Auburn, Alabama. The zip code is 36830. That's 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama, 36830. So while we're panning the crowd again, we'll tell you about our partner, iTarget, who is helping us bring this broadcast to you today. Innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. But most of us don't have time to consistently train. Plus, ammo is really expensive, and that's why iTarget Pro was invented. Using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home or even your office with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all the major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. And today, you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days of practice. And that's the letter I, targetpro.com, itargetpro.com, offer code SAVE10. Now, Second Amendment freedoms, of course, always an issue when we're talking about what the Democrats will be doing with the Second Amendment. They'll obviously be seeking to curtail it, to reduce the rights of gun owners. And in a state like Pennsylvania, where there are so many sportsmen here, with such an incredible history of outdoorsmanship and hunting and it's really a part of the culture, and it should be, because it is a right that we have, the right for self-defense. And the right to bear arms is in the Second Amendment. It shall not be infringed, and that is exactly what the Democrats want to do at it. They want to chip away at it, chip at the corners until there's probably nothing left. If they had their way, they'd probably make it so you could only have a clip for a rifle that holds 3 bullets. They have so many ridiculous ideas, and it's completely absurd what they're doing. And that's just one of the things that they will be doing should they get into office. Joe Biden, let's face it, he may be sick. We look at him and we don't know. Lately, he's been on the trail, on the campaign trail, trying to be as active as President Trump and not really doing too well. We can see now why they hid him in his basement for so long. He can barely get words together. We'll probably see that meme tonight of just in the last 2 days, how many words he's mispronounced, just completely bungled, just unfathomable what he's actually even trying to say. Do you really believe that Joe Biden could be president, that he could discharge the duties and to the best of his ability, but that's not good enough. I don't believe he's qualified. I think Joe actually he should be retired. He should be spending this time with his family, visiting his grandkids, maybe even the one he hasn't met yet, and just enjoying his retirement and his golden years, so to speak, in Delaware. I don't believe he's the right man for our country, and I know there's lots of other people who feel the same way. We're getting some people to call. I just got somebody waving. I told you that there are people who are, waving, calling RSBN all the time. Checking to see if I got any email updates from people who donated. Let me read off some here from Tyler Marchand. This is $25 since Don Jr. will be in Vegas. I think this is maybe from yesterday. I'll read a few here. From Linda Lawler, consider yourselves wrapped in our warm embrace. We understand the weather. Being from a tyrannical lockdown state, we appreciate your physical presence at President Trump's rallies. In spite of voter fraud and severe Trump peaceful protest limitations, we are turning Minnesota red. So this is someone from Minnesota sending a message. We stand with the president's supporters in all 50 states. Sending you love and warmth from Minnesota. God bless America. Warmth is definitely something we could use right now. Definitely something that we could use. So I'm going to turn around now and just describe the scene as I see it. We are, as we're looking from the camera towards the stage, that's approximately northeast. You can see the prevailing wind is coming here. The president will be landing here in the smaller Air Force One, I believe. We do see the rolling stairs. They're off to our right to help them debark. And that will be off to our right. So we will not have a very good shot today of Air Force One landing. The entire runway virtually is obscured, unless, of course, he lands coming from the east to west. So if he does come in that direction, we will see the plane approaching. Right now, we're looking at pretty much a straight crosswind on the runway. So when the wind is blowing straight across the runway, the pilot does have an option of which way to land. Since he's coming from Fayetteville, North Carolina, it's possible that he will be approaching us from the east, and the entire crowd would then be able to see Air Force One as it approaches. You can see the ramp up there. You can see some of the vehicles being staged. So this is about where the president will debark and then move over to the stage. So if he does approach from the east, we'll be able to see the plane coming we'll be able to get you a pretty good shot of it. Now, people here are it's cold. They've been here for a while. I'm chilly. And this is when the excitement really starts to build. You've gone through the suffering. You've gone through the waiting. You're here to hear the president speak. You're here to hear his message and to convey that message to your friends, to let them know about it, to say you were here, to say that you saw your president as he was fighting for your country. He's fought so hard for us since the very first days he was in office. He's never stopped fighting for America. He's never stopped fighting for the forgotten men and women. And now is the time where we all need to fight back for him. We need to do our very best to get out there and vote, to get as many other people to get out there and vote, to make sure that we don't leave any votes behind, because everyone is going to be very important. We have no idea how to assess the impact of some of the unsolicited mail-in ballots that have been, the universal unsolicited ballots that have taken place in California. Mail-in ballots in this state, I believe can be received for up to 3 days after the election. They don't even necessarily have to have a verifiable signature on them. So that is definitely a problem. Hard to know what that's going to be like. We need to make sure every person who supports our president casts a vote for our president. And even if you're in a state where the president will win handily, cast that vote. Cast that vote. And even if you're in a state where you think that the president doesn't have a chance of winning, let's take, for example, a state like California, which I've been watching you guys. I've been on the road, but I've seen you in Beverly Hills. I've seen your rallies. I've seen what you're doing. I wish I could be everywhere at once. I wish I could be there with you. California, swinging back towards red, turning purple. If the president doesn't carry it, let's at least close the gap. Every vote that we cast for President Trump in every state helps us close the gap in the popular vote. And we don't want to give the Democrat Party that leg to stand on, that President Trump won, but once again, he didn't win the electoral vote, so we have to do away with the Electoral College. That is absolutely a false line of reasoning, and we have to make sure that doesn't happen. President Trump has been talking about the choices we have between him and Joe Biden. Joe Biden wins, China wins. If Trump wins, America wins. And we know that Joe Biden can't stand up to China. China's been writing checks to him. China very well might own him. We don't really know the extent of everything that was discovered on Hunter Biden's laptop. I mean, I've been asking the question, where's Hunter? Nobody's answered. He hasn't been seen. We don't know the full extent of that. Significantly, the Biden campaign has denied any of the allegations made from the New York Post reporting on the story of Hunter Biden's laptop. Hasn't denied any of the testimony from Tony Bobulinski. Hasn't denied any of these allegations that Hunter Biden may have received funds from foreign governments. Joe has famously said that he hasn't received funds from foreign governments, and I believe Joe. Joe hasn't gotten those funds. He's had an intermediary bagman collect those monies for him, and that man was Hunter Biden. His own son was likely funneling funds from the Ukraine, famously from China, and who knows what other nations he was bringing home business deals from, paid for his expertise in energy by Burisma, of which he has none, for his knowledge of the Ukrainian people, of which he has none, for his ability to translate Ukrainian, of which he has no ability, and the equally same amount of ability he has for any business dealing he had in China. It seems that the Biden family real ability there was to leverage the power, leverage the influence of the vice presidency into foreign business holdings so that their family could benefit from those. That's all unfolding right now. It's all unfolding as we speak. The president has alluded to it in the rallies. He's talked about it in the rallies. We're going to be seeing probably something on the Jumbotron today about it. But it's a serious, serious issue. This isn't just like a minor one at all. And we need to consider that. We need to consider it. It's just something that you need to look into for yourself. It's very, very in-depth, and I can't go into all of it, but I can tell you it's a serious issue that should be addressed. Let's talk about President Trump and peace. Do you remember when he was campaigning in 2016, and everybody said that President Trump was going to get us in wars? The first one, of course, being with North Korea. Well, now here we are 4 years later, and none of that has transpired. President Trump has been the president of peace. He is the only president in the last 39 years who has not started a new war or joined a new international conflict. And that's why he's already been nominated for 3 Nobel Peace Prizes for 2021. The first of those was for his work with Israel and the UAE, who are normalizing relations. In fact, there's now direct flights between those two countries. Kosovo and Serbia, negotiating peace with them as well. And then the third one that he was nominated for is the Trump Doctrine, which we talked a little bit already, which is basically we are not going to be interfering in the foreign affairs of other countries as much as we have in the past. And what allows us to not have to interfere is we have energy independence. And we're back to fracking. Because we have energy independence, we don't have to be overseas keeping pipelines open and keeping oceanways open for super tankers coming from the Gulf of Hormuz to the United States to bring energy to the United States. Now that we are self-sufficient and actually exporting energy, we don't need any of that. And that's why the Trump Doctrine can now take place. We're also making sure that NATO pays their fair share, which historically they have not been. I mean, NATO was really shirking their duties, some of the developed nations not putting as much into the defense of their own country as they should. So I'm going to turn around again. I don't believe I see much different. One thing I do see, and I don't think we'll be able to show it to you, but we do have a significant amount of mounted police here. We actually have police on horseback who are patrolling the far side of the runway. The bleachers are definitely full. People are waiting. And usually what I can tell you, when you get a sense that the president is near, it kind of travels word of mouth in the crowd. You can kind of start to see everybody turn their heads in anticipation of the arrival of Air Force One. Sometimes they will actually pipe into the system, into the PA system, the words from the control tower, so we can let them know that they're on the way. But I don't know if we'll be doing that at this one, but I hope we do, because it's always fantastic to hear that. It's 38 degrees, it may snow, but even if you're bundled up tightly and warm, you'll still get goosebumps from that. And while we're showing you the crowd, let me tell you again about our partner for today, iTarget Pro. We know that Democrats want to defund the police departments, and that means innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and they're forced to defend themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. But most of us don't have time to consistently train. Plus, ammo's really expensive, and that's why iTarget Pro was invented. Using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all the major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. And today you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. That's 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10, and that's SAVE10. Don't spell out the word 10, it's SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days of practice. So that's the letter I, targetpro.com, itargetpro.com, offer code SAVE10. We've got the familiar soundtrack here playing in the background. Familiar to me, but of course, I don't know how many people here have been to a Trump rally. I recognized a few people in the head of the line when I was here earlier this morning, but I know that it's not always the case that people have been to many rallies and know exactly what to expect. It's always fun watching people experience it for the first time. I mean, they're very happy. I remember it well. I mean, just the energy is, I don't know, this is the part where it's hard for me to describe, because I do get a little emotional about it. It matters to me. I care about it. And I know you too. I know all of you do also, or you would not be watching us here. You'd not be watching RSBN. You wouldn't be seeing all the coverage that we do. You wouldn't be going from rally to rally. So I think what I'm going to do now, in about a few minutes, I do want to take a short break. So I'm just going to try and alert the studio that we're going to take a short break here, probably about 3 minutes. We're going to turn off the mic, and we'll come back, and while we're doing that, we'll just pan the crowd for you for a little bit. So I've been able to pull up the super chat. I'm going to try and read out some of these messages that you've been typing in at YouTube using the icon, using the dollar icon. From Jeremy, $20. Biden supports Antifa. If you go to Antifa.com, it brings you to Biden's campaign page. We do know that Biden supports Antifa. He famously never said anything else about them negative. From Meme Boy, $20. Oh, we got a memer sending us $20. I can read some of the chats that are coming through from Shamar Mitchell. These are the people in the comments with the fake pages. So alerting you in the chat that there's some fake pages going there. You know, take a look at that. I'm sure that our moderators, who always do a fabulous job, I'm sure that they're looking at that as well, trying our best to make sure that those comments are somewhat curated for you, that we're keeping the obvious trolls out there and keeping that positive energy going. The sun is now, I think, clear from the last of the obstructions from the scissor lifts behind us. So from now on, I think we're not going to have any problems with differing shadow. The sun is going to be bright on me now. I might be a little too hot, as they say in the image, but I definitely don't feel hot. I'm looking down here. I'm going to tell you what I see as I look down the riser here. Let's take if we can, just down the riser. Look at the amount of media coverage we've got. I mean, it's hard to even count the cameras, but black is the predominant color. Black is definitely the predominant color. We've got Sky News Australia here. We've got international news. I know we have people from Portugal. We've got 2 networks from Australia on my left. Several international news organizations down here on my right side as I face the camera. And of course, in front of us, we have the networks. Now, the networks, the major networks, those are the ones who have the most resources. We're a smaller company. You know that. We are very much trying to do almost the impossible, and we have succeeded thanks to your help. We have covered all 14 rallies in the last 3 days. We have crossed the nation to bring you this type of coverage. People here that when we panned and we showed the media, they may go live for a spot or two, but they're not showing you the whole show. They're not showing you. They don't want you to see it. And the networks down here, the major networks, last night I was watching the rally from Miami. It was only on RSBN. I was watching the last 2 rallies of the night. It was only streaming on RSBN. Fox wasn't showing it. CNN wasn't showing it. NBC wasn't showing it. CBS wasn't showing it. None of the major networks were showing it. I think the second stream after us was a stream from England. So if you want to see this type of coverage, if you want to see that the message that President Trump is bringing you from across the country, really the only option you have is RSBN. And while some of the message may be the same in each location, it's not all the same. You know, he does ad-libs. You know that he talks about certain issues that are more prevalent. I mean, he'll talk more about fracking today in Pennsylvania than he will have talked about it in Miami. He'll talk more about the border wall in, say, a state like Texas than he will talk about it in Ohio. Now, of course, the border wall, let's talk about that for a moment. I haven't talked about it. I mean, I've sort of talked about it, but we haven't talked about it in person, so to speak. The border wall is an important issue for me. The thing that people somewhat mistake about it is that I think it's there for immigration purposes, and I don't. I support the border wall for 2 primary purposes. That's to stem the tide of illegal narcotics into our country and to help reduce the amount of human trafficking that comes across our southern border. For those 2 reasons alone, I believe that the border wall is worthwhile. Now, we all know that it won't be 100% effective, but it will greatly curtail those. And having border security is a huge part of what makes us able to function as a country. We need to be able to control who comes into America. And when you think about it, one of the fundamental rights of a country is to define who gets to stay there, who gets the right to be an American. The Democrats, on one hand, they want to convert it to open borders where if you can make it across the border, if you can somehow get into the United States, you're here to stay. And guess what? They've got freebies for you. Free college, free health care, free housing, free money. They're just going to start showering you with all this free stuff. And where is the money for that coming from? In a sanctuary cities, you make it there, you can't be deported. Where is the money for all of that coming? It's coming from the taxes that will be raised. It's coming from the repeal of the Trump tax cuts. Joe Biden thinks that he can raise the taxes on people who make $400,000 or more per year, and he thinks they're just going to take it. He thinks they're just going to say, oh, well, Joe Biden raised my taxes. I'm going to pay even more to support everybody else who's coming into the country, who's not from America. Those people are going to move. They're going to go somewhere else. They're going to, I mean, right now we're seeing people leaving the state of New York because the taxes are too high. I'm from California, and I can definitely tell you that businesses and people have left California because of the high taxes. You can only get away with that for so long. People are intelligent, and they have options. And if you raise the taxes on people making over $400,000 per year, they're going to go somewhere else where the taxes aren't as high. We can talk of how that even happened with American business. When American businesses were being taxed at over 30%, what did they do? Let's take a company like Apple, which many of you know should be an American company, right? Well, for years, their headquarters were in Ireland. They bought a company that was headquarters in Ireland, did what's called a reverse merger, like an inverse merger, and then Ireland became their corporate capital, and they kept all their money over there. When Trump came in office, one of the things he did was to reduce the tax rate for those businesses that had overseas capital so they could repatriate all that money back into America and start creating jobs and start doing research here on American soil instead of keeping all that capital locked up overseas. He dropped that tax rate to 15%, and that made it attractive for those businesses to keep their money in the United States, to fund job growth, to fund development. And that's so key. That was such one of the key things that supercharged the economy. The other is he did away with so many regulations. Did away with so many regulations that were stifling business, cut red tape, just removed more regulations than he had. I mean, I forget what the ratio was, but I think at some point it was, I believe, like 10 to 1, 15 to 1. For every 15 he cut, for every one that he started, for every one new regulation, they were cutting away at 15. And that's what got the economy going again. When Barack Obama left, he told us that 1.5% economic growth would be the norm. He said, Trump famously said, would have to have a magic wand to do anything different. But that's exactly what Donald Trump did in his first 3 years in office. The economy soared. Unemployment was at an all-time low across all sectors. Jobs in manufacturing were coming back to our shores. Personal income was rising. The stock market was doing well. Anyone with a 401k, which is a lot of people. I mean, Joe Biden have you believe that the people in Scranton don't have 401ks? Believe me, they do, and they own stocks, and they felt it just as much as everybody else. I mean, we were doing very well until we got that unwelcome present from China. And now, while that's impacted our economy because of the actions that President Trump took, our economy hasn't been as hurt as much as those countries that went into total shutdown. And that's why we're recovering. And in the last quarter, that's why we're recovering faster. And in the last quarter, we had a 33.1% increase in GDP, the highest rate of growth ever for a quarter. President Trump is absolutely the right choice for our country to lead us back to economic recovery and beyond. It's not just people were saying it was going to be a gradual recovery. It's not. President Trump famously calls it the Super V, and that's what it is, because we're going to come back quickly. It's not going to be a long, protracted return. It's going to be a sharp return. Unemployment numbers will continue to fall. Jobs will come back. And next year, the stage is set for the greatest year in American economic history, recent history. I mean, we are going to be going gangbusters and getting back to where we were and beyond. I do see right now one thing I didn't see earlier before, and we're not going to try and catch it on the camera because we'd just be searching for it. We'll just let Jaden pan the crowd, but we do have a helicopter flying overhead right now. And typically there is a surveillance helicopter that will appear in the airspace. There have been, before the rally is about to start, there have been no landings that I have seen. I don't know if the airport is right now actively receiving planes, but I would imagine by this time the airspace should be closed off. There would be an exclusion zone, and the president may be here shortly. People are continuing to look. They're looking towards the press here, trying to see if there's any hint of where the president may be coming from. And let's see, I've actually got the right hat on for this. I've got the RSBN Shows the Crowds hat. I just want to zoom in on this. This is why so many of you, this is really the reason the network came into being. The president noticed that no one was showing the crowds. And a gentleman named Joe Seals decided that he would start a network that would show the crowds. And that's why we're here at RSBN, showing you as much as we can of every rally from start to finish. When they're stacked up like this back to back, we don't get to show you the whole full 3 hours before, but I can guarantee you that if this was the only rally of the day, we absolutely would have done that. We would have had some interviews down on the ground. We would have been talking with the supporters who are here. We would have showed you people in line. When we only have an hour and a half between the end of one rally and the start of another, what we're going to do with that hour and a half is tell you a little bit about the issues, show as much of the crowd as we can, and then when the president begins to talk, you will see the entire rally uninterrupted. Now, I don't know if you can hear it at home, but the volume has been turned up. The volume is a little higher now. That could be a sign that the president is approaching. Behind me on the hangar, I can see, actually, as I'm looking at the hangar that is behind the stage, not actually behind the stage, but behind the cameras, so we're not going to pan to it, but I can see the Secret Service with the sniper detail up there. They are scanning the horizon right now. They've got some binoculars, so we may be getting closer. As the president gets closer to arrival, that type of activity typically picks up, and once in a while you can sort of get a sense of it, because you can see that you can see them coordinating, you can see them communicating, and you can see the direction they're looking in and try and take a guess about, yes, the president is close. Now, we talked about Biden and his plans for American workers. In particular, he's put a knife into the back of Pennsylvania workers. In his support for NAFTA, in his support for China entering the World Trade Organization, in his support of normalizing business relations with China, he helped set the stage by which China was able to siphon jobs away from America onto the Chinese mainland. And that's because their people doing the labor there were making pennies an hour. Famously, I mean, just incredible amounts of suffering that those workers go through, horrible working conditions, horrible conditions for the environment as well. I mean, do you think that factories in China were adhering to the EPA guidelines of America? Absolutely not. Now, people behind us are looking. We may see the president very shortly. I do see people looking. I can't quite see it myself. I'm going to get up here on the upper step and see if I can spot the plane, see if I can see Air Force One. Judging by the crowd, he is landing. And if he'd not come from the east, he would have come from the west, so he wouldn't have got that long shot. It does appear then that it is just a private jet. So, false alarm. So we have a small private jet that has landed. And actually, in Montoursville, roughly about 2 days ago when we did the rally there, remember that, Jaden? We had a small jet that landed prior to the president. We were surprised by it. And this may be an advance party. this might be someone coming in and checking out the just the weather conditions. I'm surprised to see a small jet. This looks to be about the same size as the jet that I saw in Montoursville. Of course, that was at night, so it was difficult. I don't see any obvious airline markings. I wish I had a pair of binoculars on it so I could tell, but it is pretty much the same type of jet. It has a high T-tail, so it's not, I could tell when it did land that by the lights in Montoursville that it was an Air Force One. Air Force One doesn't have the high horizontal stabilizer. So this might be part of an advanced Secret Service detail that's landing in advance of the president. The fact that it did land from the west would seem to indicate to me that that is the same direction that the president will land from. Looking at the windsock, it looks like the wind is now blowing towards the southwest, so that would make sense for them to come in from that direction. And that would mean we won't get the long shot of the president arriving. So, false alarm for everybody who saw a plane, but that was crowdsourced eagle eyes. They were able to see a plane coming, it just wasn't the plane they were looking for. Let's talk a little bit about what the leftists are going to do if they get Joe Biden into office. We've already talked about how they're going to defund the police. And in addition to that, we know they're going to try and pack the Supreme Court. They haven't said that that's what they're going to do, but we have a pretty good chance that that is what they're going to do. They want to open the borders. They want amnesty for illegal aliens. And they're going to let people pour into the country and give them free everything. Free, and free. As much free as you can get. And when you've had that much free, then there'll be more free for you. But it won't be free for us, because the Americans that are here already, we'll be the one paying the taxes on that. Repeal the tax cuts. That's Joe Biden out one side of his mouth saying, no new taxes. I'm not gonna raise your taxes. I'm gonna cut the Trump tax cuts. I'm gonna repeal them. That's the same as raising the taxes, Joe. Maybe he doesn't realize that, but we all do. And he's also going to push for statehood for D.C. and Puerto Rico. And all that is going to do is the Democrats want to do that so they can get potentially 2 more senators from each of those new states. That'll give them 4 more senators in the Senate and give them a better chance of maintaining a majority there. And most likely, personally, I think the Democrat Party wants to get us back into war. War is something that their constituency wants. They may say that it's not, but we know that they're not exactly shy about steering America into conflicts. And I'm looking here in that business jet that did land is only about 100 yards from us. It is not pulling up to a normal gate. It does have some of the black support vehicles coming up to it. So I think I'm correct that is associated with the president's arrival here. Earlier today, we did see, yesterday and this morning, there were at least 2 C-17s that brought vehicles into the airport, brought the support vehicles that you'll see here shortly. There's typically an ambulance, two vehicles to transport the president. Sometimes those are the full-fledged beast limos. Sometimes they are just upgraded SUVs, and a couple other support vehicles that have all sorts of technical functions that I'm not really sure about, but yeah, I think they're pretty much geared towards defending the president. There's one of them over there by the, I'm actually panning over, you might be able to see it with the dome on top. A lot of communication antennas, making sure everything's going correctly there. So, I'm going to try and do something here. I think my phone has, there we go, I got it back. I didn't use the phone for so long, now I had to take the glove off so I could get the fingerprint scanner. It doesn't recognize me. Well, I'm not wearing a mask, but the face scanner might have worked. So while we're talking about what the Democrats want to do, we're talking about one of the things that they want to do, which is to defund the police. That brings me back to our partner for today, which is iTarget. Now, we know they're defending defunding police departments, and that's having an impact across America. Innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and are being forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. But most of us don't have time to consistently train, plus ammo is really expensive. And that's why iTarget Pro was invented. Using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all the major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. And today, you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. Now that's the offer code SAVE10, SAVE10, not the word 10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days. So that's the letter I, targetpro.com, itargetpro.com, offer code SAVE10. And I'm going to see if I can get a few more super chats here. The chat is really flying now, so I can tell we've got plenty of people who are making donations. Again, I wish I could read them all. I see 86,000 people are online right now, according to the refresh I have on my screen. Please, at this point, with the president getting ready to take the podium very shortly, share the stream. Send it out to your friends. Let them know that the president is about to speak, and let's get this message out there. Okay, from Brian White, $10 donation. Attention. Oh, he basically wants everybody to smash the like button. He's just saying, smash the like button and subscribe to RSBN. Now, one thing I hadn't foreseen is the effect of the sun here. It is about as difficult as it could be to actually operate these right now and read them. Barbara Wrightington, $5. Like this page. B. Luke, $9.99. Hepcat with a $10 donation. A $10 donation from HB. A $99 donation from... I'm going to get this right because this is $99. Shady Shadow, $384, $99. Trump 2020, baby. Donation of 10 Canadian dollars from Karen Guo. Asian for Trump. $5 from Benjamin Smith. Praying for victory. Praying for Trump. Thank you, RSBN. Back to Blue. Benjamin Tyler Smith, author of Blue Crucible. All right. So the crowd beginning to cheer. I see a video being played. I believe this is the one that Dan Scavino had tweeted out earlier, a couple days ago, where it's just showing the president approaching a rally that looks to be perhaps North Carolina. Really, this is just maybe we can get a zoom in on the screen here, because this is showing right now something what I told you about earlier, which is the love that the American public has shown for our president. The crowds for these rallies is so large, but beyond the rally crowds all across America, people are demonstrating their, look at this is a boat parade on a barge that was in the Miami area. We've got interstates full of cars. I know there was one in Hurricane, Utah just yesterday. So many people, so many places showing support for the president in a way that is completely unprecedented. This type of support has not been seen. And I think it's our secret weapon. And maybe it's not so secret. Maybe people are beginning to realize how much love America has for the president. And it's not so much for him personally, but it's because he's given us permission to be patriots again. For so long, we were told that it was wrong to like America. It was wrong to be proud of our country. It was wrong to have pride in the accomplishments that America has had. And that instead we should bow down to the globalists, that we should open our borders, that we should allow anybody who can make it across the line between us and other countries, that we should allow the entire world in. And that's not something that we can do. America First is a strong doctrine, and the president has supported it. And people understand that that is a huge part of why he is supported. Now, I'm looking at the crowd now, and the crowd, you can see their faces. They're all looking towards the sun. I can see the cameras coming up. And based upon the business jet that just landed, this is about the same time frame. This could be the arrival of Air Force One. I'm sure that there isn't any other aircraft in the area. You can see the people as they're watching, trying to catch a glimpse of the plane. It's still an amazing feeling every time you see it. I'm trying to take a look without getting in the way of everybody else's cameras, but really I'm down one level and I can't quite see it myself. But I see people waving. There are people who have better eyes than I do, and I believe that they see Air Force One, and now I've got a glimpse of it. I can see it. The president is on final approach. He is in the 757. That is the smaller of the two jets he will use as Air Force One. Of course, Air Force One is simply a call sign, and any plane the president is on will be Air Force One. But this is the one we've seen. This is the one we've been seeing, the 757. So just about to touch down. They almost at the end of the runway. We'll be seeing it on rollout, and then I imagine it'll take about 5 minutes for it to taxi into position, and very shortly the President of the United States will be coming down those stairs, going on to the podium and addressing this crowd. And the crowd now has wind of it that he's landed. A big cheer from behind me, and the chills are back. I'm bundled against the cold, but the chills are back and Air Force One has landed. The crowd can see it, that beautiful color scheme it has. And now, this is the tough part for me. I can tell you, I've been to many of these rallies. This part never gets old. This is the last rally I'll be at of this campaign season. And it's special. They're all special, but this one's very special. And I can't wait for the celebration rallies later. They're gonna be there. We're gonna win this election. The president will make a tour. There'll be more rallies, but this one is the last of a long campaign season. We're all gonna get out and vote tomorrow. We're all gonna take all of that love and energy that we've had for our president. We're gonna manifest it. We're not just gonna ride in trucks or boats. We're gonna go out and vote. We're gonna make sure we cast our votes, and we're gonna make sure that we get as many other people to the polls as we can. That's our job. That's what we've got to do from now until the closing of the polls tomorrow. Make your plans. Make your plans on when you're going to vote, who you're going to help vote, how many people you're going to help get to the polls. We're going to make America great again. We're going to do it. Oh. All right, sorry, I'm just getting a little emotional, but it's hard not to. It really is. While the president is taxing up, I want to take one last time to remind you, I want to remind you once more about our sponsor, iTarget. The plane is still, Air Force One is still a ways away, so we can safely tell you about this without missing anything. Innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. But most of us don't have time to consistently train, plus ammo is really expensive. That's why iTarget Pro was invented. Using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. Now, iTarget comes in all the major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Now today you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. That's 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10, and that's SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days. So that's the letter I, targetpro.com, itargetpro.com, offer code SAVE10. So Air Force One now we can see is on the, I believe it might be on a taxiway, but it is now taxiing back the opposite way that it has landed. It's going to get a little bit closer, and I can see by the Marine Guards that it will be maybe 100 yards away from us when the President deplanes. I believe, just based upon my estimate, that we have a really good chance of getting a clear shot of the President. He is almost going to be perpendicular to the axis of the news platform. There's a chance we may be blocked by some news cameras. I'm hoping not, but we should have a good shot there. While we're waiting for Air Force One to pull up, I want to remind you of ways that you can help support us. We have plans beyond this election to expand our coverage, perhaps to bring you all the news that other networks won't show. You can make a donation at rsbnetwork.com/donate. When you donate there, the bulk of your donation comes straight to us. That's rsbnetwork.com/donate. YouTube in the super chat. When you hit the dollar icon, you make a donation there. You can put a message and it'll float at the top for everyone else to see. And when you're also doing that, be sure to hit the like button, the share button, subscribe to us so you can find out all the things that we are going to be broadcasting tomorrow. The rest of today, we have rallies coming up in Traverse City, Michigan at 5 p.m. Eastern, Kenosha, Wisconsin at 7 Eastern, and Grand Rapids, Michigan finishing it off at 10:30 Eastern. So we're getting an idea of where the plane is going to be ending up. I'm trying to guesstimate. Are we going to have a clear shot, Jaden? It looks like we're going to have a clear shot. So as long as nobody steps in front of us, I'm going to tap one gentleman on the shoulder. If it's possible, we do have this game. If you can, to the extent that you can. Thank you very much. This is the Australian media here. They're very, very helpful. Everybody's trying to get a perfect shot, but we don't have the perfect angle. So right now, the rear, I'm going to tell you what I can see. The plane has 2 doors where people will be departing from. The rear door is where the press will be leaving from. The Australian media here, very, very helpful. Everybody wants to get the perfect shot. We know it may not be possible, but we're trying. So what will typically happen when the plane, when the debarkation starts, is the press corps, the supporting personnel will come off the rear stairway first. And that's what we're seeing here. The first stairway is being wheeled up against the plane, wheeled up against Air Force One. The door is open, and they're getting ready to depart from there. It's going to be a short walk for the press corps. I don't think that there'll be any other any delays or any type of side trips. Sometimes when the president comes out, he'll go to another part of the rally first or another site. We know that if you were watching us in Minnesota at the rally where the Governor Walz curtailed the amount of people that could be there to only 250, the president got off the plane. The first thing he did was go outside and greet the thousands of patriots who were waiting outside the airport who weren't allowed in to see the rally. So the Secret Service, the press corps are now deplaning. I believe it's the Secret Service first, followed by the press corps. Anticipation here is incredible. I think everybody with a cell phone has it aloft, getting an image, trying to get a shot, recording for themselves. But of course, it's equally incredible to just record it the old-fashioned way, to look at it, to remember it, to burn it into your memory about what it's like to see the President of the United States crossing America, visiting so many states and delivering his message to the voters. It's definitely a powerful and moving experience. Now they're backing up the, I don't know if we can see exactly, if we can see on camera, but I hope we can. They're backing up the limos. They'll flank the stairs on either side. They will help screen the president from any threats that might be on the side. Just a standard precautionary procedure. Very shortly, we will see the president debark from those steps, walk down to the tarmac. By watching the heads of the Secret Service, I can tell the approximate path he's going to take. We will not really be able to see them. He will be probably fairly low. Possibly we'll be able to see he's a tall guy, we know that. We might be able to see a little bit of him as he's walking back there. But for the most part, he will be hidden by the crowds as he's walking towards the stage. You can see the flags on the limousines there. The wind is still stiff. I don't know what it's blowing now, but the forecast was 15 to 30 miles an hour. It's been pretty consistent, and I would say it's certainly that right now. Snow was in the forecast, but we haven't seen any of it since said it this morning. So it's going to be sunny skies for this rally. Sunny but cold, but we're ready for it. And when they announce the president, which will be very shortly, I will, of course, stop talking. I'll put the mic down. We'll turn it off, and you will hear everything the president has to say. You will hear the crowd cheering for him. You'll hear his entire address, and I won't be coming back on until after he finishes his YMCA dance-off. That's going to be fun to see. That is going to be fun to see one last time in person. Be watching it at the rallies later tonight. I imagine many of you will be watching it on those rallies as well. Again, the secret weapon we have in the next few hours, shortly over a day, is the love for our country. We need to put that love into action, to get out there and to vote, and to make sure that we help others vote, to make sure we help them get to the polls, to make sure we help them support our president, to support our country, to help him make America great again. You know that he's been a fighter for us from day one. You know that he's done everything in his power to advance the American cause, that he has not sold us out to the globalists, that he has not taken money from large corporations like Joe Biden has. Joe Biden has told you that this is Park Avenue against Scranton, that somehow it's Wall Street versus the regular people, and it's not. Joe Biden is the one taking large corporate donations. Joe Biden is the one accepting cash from Wall Street. And Joe Biden, he may be the one accepting cash from China and the Ukraine. Not directly, of course, but through the intermediary of his son, Hunter. President Trump, on the other side, he can't be bought. He never accepted those donations. He didn't want the strings that came with them. He's here for us. He's been fighting for us. We're going to continue to fight for him. His love for country is evident. He's done everything in his power to help America, to help our veterans, to help our police, to help everyday citizens, to help, even in the economy. People say he didn't pay attention to minorities, but we know that minority unemployment was at all-time lows. The contributions to historically black universities were at record levels under President Trump. He's got the Platinum Plan to help out with black American businesses and recovery after the election. So many things this president has done. He's done well for all Americans. And he doesn't do it because he wants to cater to any one ethnicity. He wants to do it because we're all Americans. And on a CBS interview, when he was asked to describe his supporters by Leslie Stahl, he said, "Sure, I can do it. It's people who love America. That's who his supporters are. It's not an ethnic group. It's not a political group. It's not an ideology. It's not a gender. It's none of that. It's none of the sectors of identity politics that the Democrats and the left would be throwing at you. It's not a coalition based upon separates coming together. It's not isolating segments of the population and then putting them together as a political party like the Democrats do. The common thread of all of President Trump's supporters is that they love America. And there are people, I know you're out there, if you're a libertarian, if you're in the Green Party, and even people in the Democrat Party, there are many of you who love America too. If you're a Democrat and you've been left behind,
ladies and gentlemen,
join us for President Trump.
The 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. This does not look like a second place finish. I saw Sleepy Joe. He had about 12 people and unable to fill up his circles. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Pennsylvania will love Pennsylvania. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is a nice rowdy crowd, isn't it, huh? Only in Pennsylvania. You know, we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole deal. You know that, huh? Just like last time. We want to have the same result as we had last time. Hello, Scranton. Hello, Pennsylvania. Thank you very much. Tomorrow we are going to win the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and we are going to win 4 more years in the White House. With your vote, we will continue to cut your taxes, cut regulations, support our great police, support our magnificent military, protect your Second Amendment, defend religious liberty, and ensure more products are proudly stamped with that beautiful phrase, made in the USA, right? More and more. Thank you. Thank you. Remember last time they said, no, Pennsylvania hasn't been won by a Republican for many, many years. Many, many years. And then we won. And it wasn't even close when you get right down to it. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's really nice. Don't make me cry. I'll cry with that whole thing. I'll cry. And then they'll have it on. They'll say the president broke down and cried in front of his fans. And I don't know. Hey, maybe that would lift you up, right? You pick up 10 points for crying. I say I still don't want to do it. Thank you very much. No, it's really nice. Thank you. Nobody's ever heard that chant before. You know, it's never a chant that anybody's ever heard any political. We like Ronald Reagan, we like people, but nobody's ever heard of that chant, and we appreciate it. Next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country. We have the foundations already going. Under my leadership, our economy is now growing at the fastest rate ever recorded. Last Friday it was released. 33.1%, the fastest. We created a record 11.4 million jobs in the last 5 months, while foreign nations are in a free fall, and you see what's happening all over the world. We are creating an economic powerhouse unrivaled anywhere in the world. We went down less, and we've gone up much more. Nobody close. A recent Gallup poll found that 56% of Americans say they are better off today than they were 4 years ago. If Biden and Kamala, you know Kamala, right? Kamala. Remember, it's the Harris-Biden administration when he said that. The Harris-Biden, no, Joe, you're supposed to go first, Joe. But Harris and the radical left, and she is radical left. She's farther, I guess you could say Bernie is a conservative by comparison, right? Now she's the most far left. The radical left gain power. They will collapse our economy and send Pennsylvania into a steep depression. Don't worry about it. It's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're going to win. We've got some big surprises. Oh, look at all of the fake news. Look at all of the fake news. Hey, David, turn the mic up. Turn the mic up. Biden will raise your taxes $4 trillion, massively increasing your regulations. They're going to increase your regulations, maybe more important than the tax cuts. We gave the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, and maybe more importantly, we we did regulation cuts, which were also the biggest in the history of our country, whether it be 4 years, 8 years, or in one case more. Shut down your economy, close down manufacturing, send your jobs overseas, destroy our suburbs, and he will destroy our suburbs. So I say to the women of the suburbs, love me, women of the suburbs, love me. I terminated the regulation. Dissolve your borders, terminate religious liberty, outlaw private health care. 180 million people, outlaw. They're going to have socialized medicine. That's what they're going to have. Somehow I don't see Pennsylvania liking that too much. Confiscate your guns, Second Amendment, in big trouble. And indoctrinate your children with anti-American lies. I just signed an executive order to teach our students pro-American values. Biden has vowed to abolish, extinguish, and eradicate American oil, all fracking and natural gas. And, you know, I say this because we'll give it an extra little time. This is Pennsylvania. This is a state that's a wonderful state. I went to school here. I went to college here. And I'll tell you what, and I know it well, a big part of your livelihood, your money, your income, your low taxes is fracking. He spent over a year saying he will not allow fracking. The first time he came into Pennsylvania as the nominee, which was a shock to everybody. Everybody. All Elizabeth, Pocahontas, Warren had to do is leave 2 days early, and it would have been Crazy Bernie instead of Sleepy Joe. I would have had a crazy guy instead of a sleepy guy. But he came in, and after going for 1 year, and she forgot it, she still can't say it. She can't say it. But he said, no, we will ban fracking. We will ban fracking. That's what he said many, many times. Once he got the nomination, he came to Pennsylvania. They said you're going to have to do something because you have 1 million jobs, and it's a massive part of your wealth. So he walked in, and he went from, we will ban fracking, to, of course we can have fracking. What's the problem? Just remember this. It's always, yeah, that's right. He said, play the video. You know, I might not have that one in the video today. But, you know, he immediately changed, and the fake news, where is Hunter? Where's Hunter? Hunter's at a foreign country, taking in 25 million today. He's at a country that his father just left, picking up about 25 million. No, that's total corruption. But he went out, and he started talking about fracking, and he said, we will absolutely allow you, but not on government land, you know, not in government. And the press never held him accountable. And they never held him accountable for all of the corruption that he's a part of. Biden's plan to ban fracking is an economic death sentence for Pennsylvania. Biden's energy shutdown will wipe out your jobs, decimate your towns, eliminate your factories, and send your state into a nightmare of crippling poverty. You've been there. You've been there. You had the best 3 years that you've ever had under President Trump. The best 3 years. The best 3 years. And next year will be the best of all. Watch. You see it happening. If you look at housing starts, you look at automobile manufacturing, you're going to have your best year next year, unless somebody decides to come along and quadruple your taxes. Then you're going downhill, which is what he's going to do. A vote for Biden is a vote to ban fracking, outlaw mining, explode energy costs, and totally destroy Pennsylvania. You know that, right? It's going to destroy Pennsylvania. And it can happen. It can happen very fast. You take a look at a country. Take a look at Venezuela. Same ideology. And this was unbelievably wealthy, rich country, one of the richest countries. And now they don't have water. They don't have food. They don't have medicine. It's a very sad situation. It can happen here, just much, much bigger. But it can happen here with these maniacs. And, you know, it's one of those things. Joe Biden is a globalist who spent 47 years outsourcing your jobs, opening your borders, and sacrificing American blood and treasure on ridiculous, endless foreign wars. Most of you have never even heard of some of these countries. He shuttered your steel mills. I got them open. I tariffed, very nicely tariffed, dumped steel. They were dumping steel. China was dumping steel all over the place. You asked the heads of your steel companies. You wouldn't have any steel companies right now. Annihilated your coal jobs and supported every disastrous trade deal for a half a century. He was a cheerleader of NAFTA, which was one of the worst trade deals ever made. We have a very good one now, thank you. And China's entry into the World Trade Organization, which lifted China into a great power, great economic power, except they were going to catch us. For 10 years, if you study, China was going to catch us in 2019. Guess what? We were going so far ahead. And frankly, if you have somebody smart, real smart in this position, they'll never catch you. They will never, ever catch you. But if you study the history, you'll see 10 years ago, 2019, they will catch, and they would have. If I didn't come along, they would have caught you. They would have caught you. And then we had the plague. We built the greatest economy in history. And then we had the plague come in from China, came in. We closed it down. We saved 2 million lives. We saved 2 million lives, and nobody gets it. The projection was 2.2 million modeled out. We saved 2 million lives. We understand the disease, and now we opened it up. And by the way, Pennsylvania, get your state open. Get it open. Terrible. Terrible. Your governor has to open your state, Pennsylvania, has to open your state. Terrible. Get it open. Get it open, Governor. Get it open and count the votes honestly, Governor. Count them honestly. There was a very good pollster last night, actually a good one. He has us winning everything, but he was on last night. How's he going to do in Pennsylvania? He was on a show called Sean Hannity. Have you ever heard of it? No, they said, how's he going to do in Pennsylvania? He's going to win Pennsylvania except for the cheating. We figure we have to leave 5% for the cheating that takes care of. Can you believe it? For the cheating that takes place in Pennsylvania. And the guy meant it, a very great pollster, but he predicted we'd win the whole election. But the question was, what about Pennsylvania? He said, well, you have to leave 5% for the cheating. And when the Supreme Court gave you an extension, they made a very dangerous situation, and I mean dangerous, physically dangerous, and they made it a very, very bad, they did a very bad thing for this state. They did a very bad thing for this nation. You have to have a date. You can't extend dates. The danger that could be caused by that extension, and especially when you know what goes on in Philadelphia, and it's been going on for years. So, Governor, open up your state, and please don't cheat, Governor. Please don't cheat. Because we're all watching. We're all watching you, Governor. We have a lot of eyes on the governor and his friends. A couple of other governors out there, too. Pennsylvania lost half of its manufacturing jobs after... Thank you. So Pennsylvania lost half of your manufacturing jobs. Think of it. Joe Biden is a corrupt politician who sold out to Pennsylvania, to China, and also sold out for personal gain and family gain. And where's Hunter? Is Hunter in the crowd? Is Hunter? Where's Hunter? In 2016, Pennsylvania voted to fire this corrupt political establishment, and you elected an outsider as your president who is finally putting America first. And if I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician. Probably why I'm here. if I don't always play by the rules of Washington or the Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you harder than anyone has ever fought. I will tell you that. Now think of everything we've been through. Look, from before I came to office, wait a minute, we'll do that in a second. Boy, you are an enthusiastic bunch. You are something. Well, first of all, you're known as a late voting state. That means you're smart. How about all the things? Hashtag, how do I change my vote? Did you see that? After the debate, the number one trend was, how do we change our vote? That was the debate. Did everybody see the debate? Yeah, they want to change their vote. A lot of people want, is this a change the vote state? Not so much, probably. I don't think your governor would let you do that. No, we have some states, they're changing the votes. And it was started with the debates, and then they see the rallies, the biggest rallies. By the way, and I'll say this to the fake news. In the history of our country, there's never been anything like this. There's never been anything like this. And this is at a pretty early part of the day. I wouldn't say it's exactly prime time. You had to see last night in Florida. It was amazing. But think of this. They right from before I even ran, I announced, maybe before I announced, they said, I hear Trump is, let's go in and do it. But think of it. We were under investigation for 3 years, and it turned out to be a phony hoax, and it was a phony impeachment, and based on the laptop from hell, the impeachment should have never happened. In fact, it should have happened against the other side, because it was the other side that cheated. It was the other side that dealt with Russia. But think of it. And then they say, President Trump, we don't know if we like his personality. President Trump, he's too rough. He's too tough. Let me tell you something. If we didn't have a certain type of personality, and if we didn't fight, we wouldn't be here right now. Because we caught them spying on our campaign and trying to take out a duly elected president of the United States. And I fought like hell because we don't know any other way. We have to fight. But we caught them, and they turned out to be the people that were corrupt. No collusion. They spent $48 million. They found no collusion. They had 18 angry Democrat prosecutors. I have friends that say there's probably nobody that, and he is one of the smartest, there's probably nobody that he knows that could have withstood that. So we had 18 angry, crooked Democrats. You had Bob Mueller that didn't have a clue. You had all of this stuff. Think of it. We went through that for 2.5, 3 years, and then they say, we don't like the way he acted. We were under siege illegally. They committed treason. They tried to take out a duly elected president, and we caught them. And then they say, I see it today. Then they say, wouldn't it be nice? And then I see these guys on television and all of the big tech stuff, which is probably worse than them, right? They're the new boss in town, right? Not the media. They just shut up the big tech. And, we gave the power to the big tech, right? But now I say it, I look at it, and I say, gee, they're saying tough administration, chaos. They created the chaos. All we did was fight back, and we fought back well, and we caught them, and they're all caught. And now let's see what happens, okay? Let's see what happens. But we caught them. It's treason. They spied on our campaign. Nothing like that's ever happened. That's a bigger event. I would rate Biden second. His family and him took millions and millions and millions of dollars from countries that he deals with. He became vice president. He had a son that didn't have a job. He got thrown out of the military. And he went years with no job, and then he signs with Burisma for $183,000 a month. And then he wanted $3 million upfront payment. What's your experience? What do you know about energy? I don't know anything about energy. Oh, that's okay. We'll put you on the board anyway. And then he gets $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife. $3.5 million. Oh, gee, Hunter, what did you do? What did you do? You gave her some big advice, I guess, Hunter, right? And then they go to China. He takes out $1.5 billion to manage, which is millions and millions of dollars a year. And then the big one, I guess he had to stop that one because they found the laptop from hell. But the big one was a request to China to pay them $10 million a year, right? For recommendation services, for services, for no services. It's a payoff. Hey, you know what it is? It's a payoff. And the big guy gets 10%. The big guy gets 10%. He's not a big guy, bum. He's not a big guy. He's a little guy. The big guy gets 10%, and there was another one where the big guy gets 50%, right? But he wanted $10 million a year. And the tech and the media will not wait. The media will not. This is actually a very big moment in the history of our country, because we have freedom of the press, but we don't. We have suppression by the press. It's suppression. And if anybody even mentions that story, you don't see that story in the New York Times. You don't see. That is the second biggest scandal in the history of our country. First is that they spied on my campaign. That's the biggest scandal. That's the biggest scandal. And they've got everybody scared. But you have a president that wasn't scared. You have a president that wasn't scared. They said, oh, and I see it with Twitter trending. I know what trending is better than anybody in the world. I've been trending my whole life. From the day I was born, I've been trending. I know trending, but they take a story, they make it worse. Boring story, boring stuff. They'll take something and they'll say, number one trending, Trump this, number one trend. It's not trending. What trends is stuff that you don't want to talk about right now. Not having to do with me either, by the way. Not having to do with me. Look, what we have and what's happened, and you've seen it all over the last 2 weeks, is a horrible, horrible thing. The media is fake and corrupt. Big tech controls the media, and they control the politicians. And you know what? You have a president that's willing to say it. And it's a very, very big event. And let's say, and I'll tell you what, I give Tucker Carlson, and I give Sean Hannity, and I give Laura, I give all the people that are willing to talk about it. No, the Tucker reports have been phenomenal. I give all of those people that are willing to talk about tremendous credit, because people don't have any idea how dangerous this is for our country. They won't even think about it. A guy walks away with millions of dollars. He's vice president. His son's like a human vacuum cleaner. He follows his father and he takes the scraps. But the scraps are hundreds of millions of dollars. And we can't let this happen. We're putting a corrupt man up for possibly being elected. But here's the story. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have a tremendous day tomorrow. Tremendous day. And, you know, when he announces a speech in Scranton, Pennsylvania, you know, he said, I live in Pennsylvania. I was born in Scranton. He doesn't say that his father left, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I went to college in Pennsylvania, right? But I don't make the biggest deal of it. But I'm a man from Scranton. He left at 9 years old, and that's okay. That's okay. But this guy is a stone-cold phony, and honestly, he's not equipped mentally to be your president. He really is. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. I have foreign leaders calling me saying, are they serious? I say, one of them called, said, I see that you're down a little bit in the poll. I said, can you believe this could happen to me? I'd rather run against somebody that was good or even outstanding. But I think what we're going to have is one of the great days. You know, when he comes to Scranton and he gives a speech, you saw he's got the 6 circles. He can't fill them up. So he said, could you please move over here to the press? He puts the press out there. And look at this guy. I don't know how many people here, but there's a lot of people here. And it's windy as hell and it's cold and I couldn't care. Look at that flag. Look at that flag, bro. Oh, it's so beautiful. I've never seen a flag blow like that. You know what that means? That means it's windy as hell. That's what it means. Wow, look at that. That's sideways. But it's our American flag and we love it, right? Yesterday I was thrilled to be endorsed by the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Can you believe it? Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. And it's first time I've ever really liked that paper. And then once you get rid of the first one or two paragraphs, it was great. He said, you might not like his tone, you might not like the way. And again, I'm a nice guy. I have to fight. Wait, I have to fight. I have to fight to protect me and to protect you. Because once I'm not here, there's nobody else to protect you. That I can tell you. But they gave a beautiful, you have to understand, everything's relative. They gave a beautiful, beautiful editorial, and I appreciate it. Oh! Thank you. It's the first time, thank you. Thank you. Telling you, you're going to make me cry with that. Stop. The president broke down in tears as they screamed, we love you. I don't know if President Xi of China wants to hear that. Yeah, he probably would like that. The first time the paper has endorsed a Republican for president in over a half a century. So to the people of the Post-Gazette, I would like to thank you. I will forgive you for your first one or two or three paragraphs. Because they said, however, he's done a great job. And I have. I've done a great job. They said, put his personality aside. But I'm telling you, the assault on this office has changed my personality. It's just one of those things. Joe Biden is bought and paid for by big tech, big media, and powerful special interests. They own him, they control him, and they know he will always do their bidding. And when he raises $300 billion like last month, I could raise much more than him. I'm president. I could call all these Wall Street guys, most of whom I know. I could call the oil guys. I could call them all. I would blow his numbers apart. Give me 2 hours. I say, send me $10 million. No, we don't need it. How many commercials can you buy? We raised a lot of money. We raised enough money. Crooked Hillary last time outspent us 4-1, right? 4-1. And I actually got criticized. They said the other day, even against Hillary Clinton, he didn't raise that much money. And you won the race, right? They don't care if you won or not. They said they always have to find something. But I would be the greatest fundraiser of all time. This is the President of the United States calling for the head of Goldman Sachs. Hello, how are you, Bill? Is everything good? Is everything good? Listen, I'd like $25 million within the next 5 minutes. Send it to the White House, please. What, do you think he's going to say no? I would be the greatest, but you know what? I chose not to do that, okay? I chose not to do that. And when you see he raised $300 million, his people are making deals all over the place. Every corrupt force in American life that betrayed you and hurt you, they are supporting Sleepy Joe Biden. The failed establishment that started the disastrous foreign wars, they support Biden. The career politicians that offshored your industries and decimated your factories, and you got it worse than anybody else, just about. New England was hit hard, too. They support Biden. The open borders lobbyists that killed our fellow citizens and gave them illegal drugs, destroyed our families and so many people, the gangs and crime, they support Sleepy Joe Biden. The far-left Democrats that ruined our public schools, depleted our inner cities, defunded our police, and demeaned your sacred faith and values, they support Joe Biden. And I see where they wanted to fund your great Philadelphia police, and you have great police. They wanted to fund your Philadelphia police. Have you seen that? They actually wanted to fund. They wanted to fund your police. I read it this morning. I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think people should take it. You can't take it anymore, right? You can't allow it to happen. And every place we've gone into, within a half an hour, it was over. But they have to ask the federal government. They're embarrassed, or they're afraid, or they think they're going to lose support. We want to go into Portland. We'll settle that in 2 minutes. We were the ones that did the whole thing in Seattle. We told them we're going in the following morning. That night, they raised their hands. They said, well, I think we'll leave now. They took over a big chunk of Seattle. No, we can't allow this stuff. You look at what's going on in Philadelphia. You look at that can't be done. And they can't tell the police to stand back. They can't tell that. They stand back and they watch people. They watch people walk out with washing machines. Guys pushing a washing machine. That's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And you know, the world watches that. They're all Democrat-run cities and states. New York, Chicago, unfortunately, Pennsylvania, and many of them are closed, right? Because you know why they're closed? Because they thought it would hurt our numbers, and then they saw 33.1. That was a big number. The anti-American radicals defaming our noble history, heritage, and heroes, they support Joe Biden. Antifa and the rioters and looters and Marxists and left-wing extremists, they all support Sleepy Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. And by the way, just so you understand, because look, Joe has no clue, okay? He's not calling the shots. And I guarantee he won't be calling them for very long. This election comes down to a simple choice. Do you want to be ruled by the corrupt, selfless political class, or do you want to be ruled and governed by the American people, which is what we're doing, which is one of the reasons I'm doing it. A vote for Biden is a vote to give control of government over to the globalists, communists, socialists, the wealthy, liberal hypocrites who want to silence, censor, cancel, and punish you. If you want your children to be safe, if you want your values to be respected, if you want to be treated with honor, dignity, and respect, then I am asking you to go tomorrow and vote for Trump. Come on. Well, it's up to you, really. You got to get out. I'm telling you, again, I'll say it again and again. Pennsylvania, I've done very well. You've had your best years ever. Pennsylvania, it's going to be up to you. It's such a big deal. Big state, everything. And we're doing great in Florida. You know, Florida's been great. You notice they're not talking about Florida anymore. Florida's been great. We're doing great in Florida. So we get Florida, we get Pennsylvania. We're going to get North Carolina. We're doing great in North Carolina. You saw the poll come out yesterday in Iowa, way ahead in Iowa. We're way ahead in Ohio, except we get sometimes a fake poll. We're way ahead. We won Ohio by 8 points. They say we're further up than that this time because we have everything I talked about, we have done and more. We've done more than I talked about. Remember what I said 4 years ago. I am your voice. And we will make America great again. And that's what we're doing. For the last 4 years, the depraved swamp has tried everything to stop me because they know that I don't answer to them. I answer to you. And it's true. We did this together. You know, this is a movement the likes of which this country, in a way the world probably, but this country has never seen. You know, this country's never seen. You take some of the things that have happened over many, many years. A politician runs and comes in second in New Hampshire, becomes famous for the rest of his life. We won. Well, we won everything this time. We won 100% of the states in the primaries, right? But we won 34 states against a crooked person, right? A very crooked person. How crooked is, by the way, how crooked is Hillary? She deleted 33,000 emails. What's happening with that? But we won. We won like nobody's ever run. Nobody's ever won like we've won. No, the likes of which nobody's ever seen anything like it. And just to get off that subject for a second, we had 2016, we had a campaign. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Can I be honest? There is much more enthusiasm for this campaign than there was 4 years ago. Because 4 years ago I came and I was a successful guy and I said, we're going to do this, we're going to cut your taxes, we're going to get rid of regulations, we're going to rebuild your military, we're going to this and that and that and that. And I did everything and more than everything. We're going to take care of our vets. We just got a 91% approval rating from the vets on the VA. Okay? Now, but think of it. We did everything we said we were going to do. But there is much more. And you know what? That was a record. There was never a campaign. Nobody's ever seen a campaign like that. That and Brexit. Look at him. Look at him. We have Nigel. I spotted Nigel. Oh, Nigel. But I actually did see a list, Nigel. They said the victory of President Trump was #1. Brexit was #2, but it was a distant #2. And even Nigel agrees with that. No, Nigel's been fantastic. What a voice. He's a great voice, great guy. Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to have you. It's an honor. They know, Nigel. Brexit, Mr. Brexit. But the level of enthusiasm, and I think you're going to see a great red wave tomorrow. And I think it's going to blow them away. And we get Florida and we get Pennsylvania and we're going to get New Hampshire. We're going to get New Hampshire. Yeah, they say get New York. Can you believe that? See the disadvantage. The disadvantage we have, because I think in certain ways you campaign totally differently. The disadvantage we have with the Electoral College, you automatically lose, I don't care if you bring back Abraham Lincoln and George Washington as his running mate. You lose New York, Illinois, and California, okay? So now you got three of the biggest, but you have three monster states. That's an automatic loss. So you're starting off, so then you have to run. And so we ran Florida, then we got Georgia. By the way, we're doing very well in Georgia. We got Georgia, we got North Carolina, we got Pennsylvania. That was a very important deal. We got Pennsylvania, we got everything. Then we got Wisconsin and Michigan. We said, whoa, remember they wouldn't give you the credit? We were 2 points short. We were at 98% of the vote tabulated, 98. And it stayed there for hours. And if I lost every single vote, right, and I still win. So I say, why aren't they calling Pennsylvania? They wouldn't do you the honor. And then they called Wisconsin, great state, and they called Michigan, which hadn't been won in years and years. And they took the glamour. So will you please give yourself the glamour this time? Give yourself the glory, okay? And make sure your governor doesn't cheat, okay, if you're good. Because they're known for very bad things, very, very bad things here. Can you imagine the pollster saying you have to allow 5% in Pennsylvania for cheating? That's a terrible thing to say. Of course, everybody knows it's true. But we have a lot of eyes watching. They never had eyes watching. We got a lot of very powerful eyes watching them. They don't want that to happen to themselves. Together we will defeat the corrupt establishment and will dethrone the failed political class. We will drain the Washington swamp, and we will save the American dream. We're going to save the American dream. This election is also a choice between a deadly Biden lockdown or a safe vaccine that ends the pandemic, and we build the greatest economic country that we've ever had. There'll be nothing like it. We will mass distribute the vaccine. You know, we've done such a great job with this whole thing. You look at Europe, they're spiking. It's everybody, they'd say, look at the way Germany's doing. Look at the way France is doing. Look at Spain. Look at now Italy, right? Italy had a really rough patch. Then it went, well, they're all having a lot of problems. I said, well, they don't use those examples anymore. But we have better numbers than all of them. You look at our numbers, they're better, and it's bigger, and you don't get a lot of the numbers you don't get, because believe it or not, there are some countries that don't give you an honest kick, right? You know that, right? It will quickly eradicate the vaccine, will quickly eradicate the virus. and wipe out the China plague once and for all. And let me tell you, we're rounding the corner anyway, but we have the vaccines coming very shortly. They didn't want to give me the credit. They were saying, no, don't. Oh, they fought me like crazy. Did you see that? They didn't want it to happen before the election, but everybody knows. So we have the vaccines going to be very quickly delivered by our military. Our military is ready to go logistically. Joe Biden is promising to delay the vaccine and turn America into a prison state, locking you in your home. But you're already locked in your home, so I hope that doesn't take away any of your incentive. You're already locked in your home. While letting far-left rioters roam free. Isn't that something, right? You can't go to church. You can't take your family to dinner. But you can let people riot down the middle of your beautiful shopping street, knocking the hell out of people, burning down your stores like in Minneapolis, burning the hell out of the place until we sent in the National Guard. That ended in 31 minutes. It was amazing when they started getting whacked with tears. I hope they weren't aiming. Did you see Ali Velcher? He went down. Ali, I don't even know who the hell he is. I just know he does a very nice job of shaving his head. This is Ali Velcher. And this is a friendly protest. And behind him, the entire city is burning. It's like Berlin on its worst day, right? This is a friend. You know, they don't report. You know, if you have a bad, like in a Democrat-run city, they don't report it. Nobody even, I don't watch CNN, actually, so I don't know about it. But I did see the clips. And didn't Ali Velcher then get hit on the knee with tear gas from our great National Guard? No, he got hit. He went down. I'm down. I'm down. What a group of people. CNN, how dishonest is CNN? But you know what? I think NBC is more dishonest than CNN. I think NBC and ABC, I think ABC is terrible. I mean, ABC is absolutely. How about where they interview me and every question is a kill? They're going for the kill. And then they interview Sleepy Joe and it's like, oh, the most boring interviews. They don't ask him anything. They don't ask him whether or not he's corrupt. Are you corrupt? Hey, Sleepy Joe, are you corrupt? Remember, I asked him that question, and Chris Wallace of Fox wouldn't allow it. I said, why? Why? Why won't you? Well, I don't think it's appropriate to ask right now. Chris Wallace, he is not Mike. He will never be Mike. He tries hard, but he will not be Mike. You know why? Doesn't have the talent. The Biden lockdown will mean no school, no graduations, no weddings, no Easter, no Thanksgiving, no Christmas, no 4th of July, and basically no future for American youth. Other than that, actually, it's quite a wonderful thing. Okay? A vote for Biden is a vote for lockdowns, layoffs, and misery. You're going to have a miserable time. You know what the fake news doesn't know? They're getting the highest ratings in the history of television. When Trump is gone, they're all going bankrupt. They will go down. They're going to say, oh, I wish. They're going to be calling, we want Trump to run again. We want him to run again. The fake news. The New York Times, the failing New York Times, will be out of business. No, can you imagine? Yeah, 4 more years. It's true, though, right? Can you imagine these people? They're getting the highest ratings on television. They've taken over for the NFL. People don't like. How about basketball? How about LeBron? I felt badly for LeBron. I felt very badly. Down 71%. And that's for their champion. I didn't watch one shot. I get bored. Back, forth, back, forth. You know why? When they don't respect our country, when they don't respect our flag, nobody wants to watch. Nobody. And the NFL is way down. The NFL is way down. You got to stand for our flag. You got to really be great to our flag and to our anthem. And if you don't do that, we're not watching. What a crowd. What a crowd. Hey, I have 3 more of these to do. Do you want me to stay with you all day? Yes. So yesterday I did 5. I actually did 6 because I did one early for some people. But I actually did 6. But I did 5. I got home at 2 o'clock in the morning. in Miami. I got home 2 o'clock in the morning. And I said, good, what time do we start tomorrow? 8 o'clock, sir. Oh, I said, great, let's go. But you know what it is? I'm doing a run, a great marathon. Everyone, even one thing I'll say, they say, I can't believe, because Sleepy Joe will go out, he'll talk for 10 minutes. He's very agitated, He's so angry. Okay. He's got the shades on now. They should be a little bit larger. The aviators, right? Are they called aviators? He's got the aviators on, and he's so angry. And he's reading every word. He never goes off teleprompter because he gets lost if he can't go off teleprompter. He gets lost. No, but the anger, but it's not really anger, it's agitation. You know what that means, right? That's what happens is when you lose it, you get can happen to all of us someday. But you can't let it happen to your president, I'm sorry. But he was so angry, he was so agitated this morning. The glasses were pouring off, the mask he kept on. Oh. There's nobody around him. The closest person's about 60 feet away. A reporter that can't believe he got this good location in Inner Circle that's supposed to be for VIPs, right? Now he's got Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga is not too good. I could tell you plenty of stories. I could tell you stories about Lady Gaga. I know a lot of stories about Lady Gaga. And John Bon Jovi, every time I see him, he kisses my ass. Oh, Mr. President. But he'll get something out of it, just like everyone is. But you know what happens? You bring in some of these guys. They don't draw. By the way, we draw much bigger crowds than these people. But you know what happens? He'll sing a song or two, and then he'll leave, and the crowd will leave, and Sleepy Joe's up there talking. That happened to Hillary, too, right? They got Beyonce, and they got Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z. And he started using the F word, do you remember, in front of this crowd? And it was unbelievable. He was using the F word, and the crowd is going. And then they left, and the crowd left, and Hillary was standing on stage with an empty place, and she was talking. And she lost, and people were surprised. Let me tell you something. When you look at these crowds that we're getting, there's never been anything like it. This is just not the crowds. This is your ultimate poll. This is not the crowds of a second-place finisher. They said yesterday, well, some people are here since, Nigel, they're here from 24 hours, 48. We have people in line for 3-4 days. And then the press says, but will they vote? Well, wait a minute. They're willing to wait 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day online. Will they vote? Will they stand there for an hour and vote? I think they're going to vote. Who is going to vote? Okay, and seriously, is there anybody here who's going to vote for Sleepy Joe? Anybody? No? Is there anybody that would have the courage to put up their hand? No. Oh, but he was born in Scranton. What a phony he is. He was born in Scranton. I'm a Scranton boy. Did you see? I'm tired of the smart people. Did you see where he said yes? I'm tired of the smart people. But we want a smart person as president. You got to have a smart. No, he said it. He made a lot of bad moves yesterday, didn't he? He was having a bad day yesterday. He's tired of smart people. No, I can't get too tired of him. To me, that's an amazing statement. If you want a vaccine to kill the virus, a job to support your family, and freedom to live your life, then go cast your ballot. You cast your ballot. We're changing things to, you could say, what it used to be, but maybe it used to be a little bit like this, but it was never like this. Things change, I think, with big tech. I think it really changed. Joe Biden personally ran the swine flu, right? He ran H1N1. Remember, he can't remember that. He always goes, no, N1H1, isn't it? No. H comes before N, Joe. Just remember it that way. H1N1 swine flu. Remember he said, what was that called? Who was that governor from, I think it was Utah. He's a Mormon. What was his name? His name was Romney. Oh, great. He's another beauty. He failed horribly, and he was the laughingstock of Washington. So he ran the swine flu operation. He was the laughingstock of Washington. Now on something much more lethal that we have done a great job on, except with public relations. I would say if I had Nigel handling my public relations, I would have been much better. We have done a great job on this, and you compare us to other places, and you see, and bringing back the economy, opening it up, except on public relations. But his own chief of staff said that he was absolutely terrible. He didn't have a clue. He didn't know what he was doing. And he told us, right, that I was xenophobic because I closed it to China, which was highly and heavily infected. And then he runs and he says, I should have closed it earlier. I said, how does he get out of that one? You know how he gets out of that one? The press doesn't report it. They refuse to report it. The only way I can do that is, look, I got all live television, all the lights. And the only way, you know, they can't keep it off, only for one reason. I get very big ratings. If I didn't get big ratings, there'd be no way of communicating. Oh, and they're going to miss those ratings someday. Someday they're going to miss them. Secretary of Defense Robert Gates said that Biden has been wrong on nearly every single major foreign policy and national security issue over the past 4 years. Now, he worked with Biden. He worked with him. And he said he was wrong on like everything. And he is. And he is. But you don't have to take my word for it. Because this happens to be a state that I love, I spent a fortune on building these screens. Like, you got 2 of them. Wow. Usually I bring 1. It's a lot cheaper. Roll the video, please. Roll it.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
Have you taken a cognitive
No,
test?
I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
By the way, this is my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me. But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
There is not a single solitary reason in the world why, as I said, we shouldn't be in a position that everybody, and that's my wife, Jill. Hey, Jilly, I'm Jill's husband, actually.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did. And back in those days, you see how things have changed?
Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone. Make sure the kids hear words.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Because if you could take care, you were a quartermaster, you can sure and help take care of running a department store thing, where in the second floor of the ladies department. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
You know, the rapidly rising I don't know. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying, dog-faced pony soldier.
Why attack Sanders? Why? Oh, you're getting nervous, man.
What kind of country we're going to be? 4 more years of Georgia, he's going to find ourselves in a position where, if Trump gets elected, we're going to be in a different world.
Lie after lie after lie after lie. You know, we have to come together. That's why I'm running. I'm running as a proud Democrat for the Senate. And by the way, I sit on the stand, and to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. Barack and I think it's a right for people to have bad health care.
We have to do at least several things. One, we have to depend on what the president's going to do right now. And first of all, he has to wait till the cases before anything happens. Look, exacerbating the need for environmental justice. Sorry, as a bug.
Folks, we got a lot of work to do. I don't only need you to get me elected.
The case, we cannot let this, we've never allowed any crisis from the Civil War straight through to the pandemic of 17, all the way around 16. We have never let our democracy take second fiddle. We can both have a democracy and elections and at the same time correct the public health.
Everywhere I've been hearing all around the country. You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough. And here comes the train that he tried to make sure didn't continue to run. No, that's the commuter. All right. No, that's what. But folks, look. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental as well as my mental fitness. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
We shouldn't be laughing. Don't let that happen to our country. By the way, that was just a small. We could keep you there all day watching that. No, we can't let that happen to our country. We're joined by some real warriors. Dan Mauser. Where's Dan? Where are you, Dan? Dan, Congressman? Where are you, Congressman? Where's Dan Muser? Muser! Thank you very much. Thanks, Dan. Fred Keller, G.T. Thompson. That's good. With you, with the three of you, what warriors you've been. What warriors you've been, and thank you very much. They were there at the beginning, and they have been with me all the way. And you have a couple of former members that we love, that we think are great, Lou Barletta and Tom Marino. Thank you very much, Tom, Lou. Thank you. Thank you very much. How are your elections going, by the way? Dan, how are you guys going? Are you doing good? We're going to win Pennsylvania. It's a guarantee. Good. That's good. So you got to vote for those guys. That's a great group. So your districts are looking good. You need an extra tweet or anything? You don't need? I don't think, this group doesn't need anything. And also, thank you, fellas, for coming. When are you going to rerun for office, Tom and Lou? Do you have anything you're thinking about? Look at them. They look healthy as can be. Congressional candidate Jim Boudnett. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. And a woman who is doing an incredible job, campaign chair, Bernie Comfort. Bernie, thank you. How's it going, Bernie? We're going to have a big victory tomorrow, I think, huh? We're going to have a big one. We better, Bernie. I'll fire you so fast. Another great friend of mine, a great guy, David Urban. David, thank you, David. And somebody that I know very well, he's a tall young gentleman. His name is Eric Trump. And he's done great. He's done great. And I see Jared Kushner right over here, Middle East Peace. Middle East Peace. Wow. Jared usually likes to stay in the plane and work. He's working on Middle East Peace and doing a great job. You see what we're doing? Thank you. Thank you very much. For decades, our politicians spent trillions of dollars rebuilding foreign nations, fighting foreign wars, and defending foreign borders, but not defending our border. But now we're finally protecting our nation, rebuilding our cities, and we are bringing our jobs, our factories, and our troops back home to the USA where they belong. For 47 years, Joe Biden viciously attacked black Americans. He called young black men super predators all the time. To every black American, go tomorrow and vote for Trump. This is your one and only chance to show Sleepy Joe Biden what you think of his decision to attack you, jail you, and betray you, which is what he did. I'm fighting for you, and I got criminal justice reform, prison reform, opportunity zones with Tim Scott, the senator from South Carolina, who's great, and funding for historically black colleges and universities. We got them the funding, long-term funding. And I say it all the time. I say it like this, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. A lot of people like me to leave the word possible out. There is no president that has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. It's true. And you're seeing that, by the way. You see what's going on in Florida? The numbers are very high, like nobody's seen before, with the black community and with the Hispanic American community. Oh, the Hispanic American, they're liking Trump. I've done a lot for them, and they like me, and I like them. I always have, actually. And they are voting for us very big. They're coming out in Florida in numbers, and the Democrats are very worried. They say, what's going on? What's going on? You know what's going on? I've done a good job. That's what's going on. So I want to thank, we have to see what the final numbers are, but I think I can say in advance, African American community, Hispanic American community. It's been incredible what's gone on in Florida. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You notice they're not talking about Florida too much, right? They're not talking. We get Florida, we get Pennsylvania. You watch. Under my leadership, we achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. You know, the wall is over 400 miles long. It'll be finished soon. And they don't talk about that one anymore either, do they? They don't talk about it. You know, when you have success, they never talk about it. And you know what's happening. You know what's going on, right? I mean, other countries are coming in. They're studying what we're doing. All over the place they're studying. Because what we've done, nobody's been able to do. Joe Biden has pledged open borders, free health care for illegal aliens. No, not for you. No, see, I delayed that a little bit. No, free health care for illegal aliens. They want to give them more than they give us. And deadly sanctuary cities. We believe our cities should be sanctuaries for law-abiding Americans, not for criminal aliens. The Biden-Harris plan would increase refugees from terrorist nations by a staggering 700%, flooding into your towns and cities. I am keeping, if it's okay with Pennsylvania, I am keeping radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. Is that okay? You know, I passed a ban early on, and it ultimately got approved by the United States Supreme Court, but I passed a ban because we want people coming into our country that can love us and come in through merit and all sorts of things. We don't want people coming into our country that hate us, can't stand us, and want to do harm to our citizens, okay? So the ban was quite controversial, but it's had a big impact. It's had a big impact. And you know, one of the reasons we're going to win Minnesota? Ilhan Omar. Although she loves our country very much, she loves our country very much, doesn't she? We invested $2.5 trillion in the United States military. We have the finest military, the finest weaponry in the world. All made in the USA, with the envy of Russia and China and North Korea. We have the best equipment in the world, rockets and missiles and submarines and everything that we're building. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. $2.5 trillion made in the USA. We also passed veterans. We passed for our veterans VA choice after 44 years. And VA accountability. Okay, VA account, that's where you say you're fired, get the hell out of here, you're not treating our vets right. I told you, we got the highest rating, the highest approval rating that has ever been given by our vets, 91% approval. Who are the 9%? Oh, they'll find somebody within the 9% to be on television. We obliterated 100% of the ISIS caliphate. We killed the leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. We eliminated the world's top terrorist. Soleimani is dead. I recognized the capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights 52 years. They worked on it for 52 years. And instead of endless war, we are forging peace in the Middle East. Good job, Isil. Good job, my man. A vote for me and the Republican Party is a vote for the American dream. And who was a very distinguished person within the Republican Party? The late, great Abraham Lincoln. Please remember that. He was very presidential. He's the only one I said maybe I can't be that presidential, but he was very presidential when he wore the hat especially, right? Over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we will end our reliance on China once and for all. That's already happening. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and we will ban deadly sanctuary cities. You've got them. You've got them. With God's help, we will defend the right to life, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. Your Second Amendment is gone if I don't get in. If I don't get in, your Second Amendment, wave goodbye. And I'll be sitting home and I'll be saying, I told the people of Pennsylvania, you better vote for Trump. Now, your Second Amendment is under siege. That's right. We put Amy on. You happy with Amy? Everyone loves Amy. Thank you. You know, we do. They don't talk about that enough. They say it's the most important thing a president can do. So at the end of my first term, I will have approximately 300 federal judges, which is a big percentage of the judiciary, and 3 great Supreme Court justices. That's a lot. Many presidents have gotten to choose none. Hey, whatever happened to packing the court, you know? This guy's running, he never gave an answer. Maybe he's smarter than we think. Whatever happened, he never gave the answer. He never said, he said he was going to tell us. We're running, you know, people are casting votes. You cannot elect somebody that's going to pack the court, and he's going to pack the court. And he didn't give us a list of the radical left judges he wants to put on either. So he got away with it. See, he got away with it. He just did because the press never pressed him, right? See, there's the case. If that were me, I could never, ever get away. He got away with it because the fake news wouldn't press it. He never talked about packing the court, and we're voting right now. He shouldn't get a vote unless he tells you, because you will destroy this country. That's a big thing, packing the court. Can you imagine? But they never picked it up. We will maintain America's unrivaled military might, and we will ensure peace through strength. We will end surprise medical billing, require price transparency, lower drug prices. You know, we're doing favored nations. We're going to have the lowest prices anywhere in the world. The drug companies hate me so much. They are spending more money on ads than Sleepy Joe Biden. And we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. America will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars. NASA was like an abandoned place, and now it's the hottest place in the world for space. And that goes along with Space Force, doesn't it? We did Space Force. We never even talked about Space Force on the campaign, but we needed it. When I saw Russia, when I saw China, we needed it. We got it approved. We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust." For years, you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for the great people of Pennsylvania. I know you well. I know you well. You're a rowdy bunch today, but that's okay. It's rowdy, but it's rowdy with love. It's rowdy with love. It's true. No. Tomorrow you have the power with your vote to save America. We will never be a socialist nation. That's what we're talking about. Or you're going to be a large-scale version, very large-scale of Venezuela. That's what happens. It happens every single time. So get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, get your co-workers, even grab your boss by the tie and say, come on, boss. Let's go. We got to vote. We got to vote. For generations, America's destiny was made, forged and won in places like Bethlehem and Bristol, Easton and Allentown, Pittsburgh and Scranton, right here in Scranton. Our American ancestors gave their blood, sweat, and tears to defend our country and to defend our freedom. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the ocean, settled a continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, raised up the great skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world, and the best is yet to come. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Pennsylvania, go out and vote tomorrow, please. We have made America powerful again. Our military has never been as even close to what it is right now. We have made America wealthy again. We have made America strong again. We have made America proud again. We have made America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Pennsylvania.
All right, back here real quick in the RSBN studio. I'm Joe Seals. Thank you so much for joining us. Stop number 2 is in the books of 5 today for President Trump. We are at all 5 events, just like we were yesterday. We'll do everything we can to make sure that you have every single rally today. We're providing live coverage. We'll be transitioning to Traverse City, Michigan, then to Kenosha, Wisconsin, and then back to Michigan to wrap it up, just like we did in 2016 in Grand Rapids. Things are looking good right now for the president, but we have to get out and vote. Please go vote. Whatever you do, please go vote. We want the president, obviously, to win. But it's just the future of our country depends on this. So please do all you can for our president. And thank you all again for supporting us over the years and helping us get to all these rallies. This is your network. You built it, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much again. We're going to transition back to Brick Suit, who's live here. But first, a quick note. Tomorrow night, we will offer election night coverage from our friends at the First TV. We had originally planned to do this on our own here in the studio, but unfortunately, all of our resources are expended out on the campaign trail right now. All my cameramen, all my correspondents will be on their way back home. So, and it's only me here in the studio. So we're going to instead, we will offer coverage through our friends at the First TV. So just a quick update there. We thank you all so much. We're going to send it back to Brick Suit, now live from Scranton, PA, and then we're going to head to Traverse City.
All right, well, that was President Trump wrapping up here at Scranton, a fabulous midday rally. We've got 3 more to cover. We're going to be having Traverse City, Michigan, Kenosha, Wisconsin, and Grand Rapids, Michigan to end out the night. But while we're waiting for that, I'm going to tell you one more time about our partner that helps bring all of these rallies to you, and that's iTarget. Innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. And the president mentioned that today. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. But most of us don't have time to consistently train, plus ammo is really expensive. And that's why iTarget was invented. Using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. Now, iTarget comes in all the major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. That's 10% off free shipping with the offer code SAVE10, SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days. So that's the letter I, targetpro.com, itargetpro.com, offer code SAVE10. Now, additionally, the bulk of all the funds we get to go to these rallies, to cover everything, to increase our coverage after the election, after President Trump's victory, comes from donations you make directly to us. And that's at rsbnetwork.com/donate. rsbnetwork.com/donate. You also do the YouTube with a live chat. You can definitely do it there, or you can send us a letter addressed to 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama, and that zip code is 36830. The president today talked about many themes. He did talk about fracking. He did talk about the inability of Joe Biden to actually perform the job. He did talk about the threat to the suburbs. He did talk about open borders and amnesty. He did talk about the repeal of the tax cuts. He did talk about packing the Supreme Court. He talked about the defense of the unborn. He did talk about Joe not being able to stand up to China. And as the sun is now peeking out, some beautiful light, people are filing out. I've got my old school MAGA hat on, the classic Make America Great hat. This is the one that started it all. I just want to remind everybody what the president was saying about the need to go out and vote. Get out there, cast your vote, make sure you've taken care of yours. And then after that, make sure you help other people vote. And we felt the love tonight. It took about 5 minutes until the crowd was chanting, "We love you." It took about 5 minutes. And it's there. We love our nation. We love this president. We love the job he's done for us. If you're undecided, if you're on the fence, if you love your country, now's the time tomorrow to vote for this president and keep this country going. Don't give it over to the Democrats. Don't give it over to the leftists and the socialists and the communists in the Democrat Party who will tell Joe Biden to drive this country off a cliff. So that's it. The last rally I'll be covering for campaign season 2020. My name is Brick Suit. You can follow me on Twitter at Brick_Suit. That's Brick_Suit. Brick Suit. Imagine that. That's pretty easy. We're going to pass it off to our team in Traverse City, Michigan. I wish all of you a good night. I wish the president God bless, and may God bless the United States of America.
All right, if you are watching this stream on the Scranton stream, we're going to end the stream and now transition our coverage over to the stream in Michigan. So please migrate on over there, and we'll see you over there shortly. Be live in about 5 minutes.